Get ready, because the news just dropped from Ashburn is about to shake the foundation of our defense. Darren Payne might be on his last leg in burgundy and gold, and I'm gonna break down why this unexpected exit is Adam Peters' master play, and why Payne's silence is louder than any statement. But that ain't all, because the Brandon AIYUK drama with the 49ers is heating up, and his flirtation with the Commanders makes us ask, is he the ultimate weapon for Jaden Daniels, or a ticking time bomb Adam Peters shouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole? And to cap it off, I'm going to show you how Jaden Daniels is turning a tight end many wrote off CHIG into a budding superstar, and why their connection is the key to our offense. I need you to sit down, take a deep breath, and listen carefully, because what's happening with Darren Payne is one of those stories that makes you scratch your head and then say, ah, that makes sense. The news is that Darren Payne, our star defensive tackle, is entering the final year of his 4-year, $90 million contract, and the million-dollar question is, what's his future with the Commanders? Because, and here's the kicker, when he was asked if he expected an extension before training camp, his answer was a terse, "I'm just playing football, man." And when asked if his reps and the team had talked, he said, "Not that I know of." Bro, that's not an answer from a player who feels secure or who's in advanced negotiations. That's a signal, and a signal that, if we read it right, could point to an unexpected exit at the end of this season. Let's break this down, because it's not as simple as it looks. Darren Payne was the 13th overall pick in the 2018 draft. He's been a pillar on our defensive line, a guy who's played almost every game, which is insane for an interior defensive lineman. Before last season, he'd only missed 1 game in 7 years. A warrior. But here's the catch. His best season, 2022, was right before he signed that massive extension. He had 11.5 sacks, 18 tackles for loss, 64 tackles, elite numbers, and Washington at the time made him the second highest paid defensive tackle in the league. And what's happened since then? In the last 3 seasons combined, he has 11 sacks. Yes, you heard that right. In 3 years, the same number of sacks he had in a single contract year. Now, don't get me wrong, Payne is still a good player. He eats up blocks, he pushes the pocket, he's a force. But is he a $27.5 million cap hit player in 2026? That's the question Adam Peters is asking. And if we're honest, the answer is a resounding no right now. Peters is a GM who maximizes value. We saw it with Laramie Tunsil, who got an extension because he was an irreplaceable asset and the best at his position. But with Payne, the situation is different. The fact that Peters hasn't lifted a finger to extend Payne, and that Payne himself says there are no talks, is a clear indication. Peters wants to see an extra motivated Darren Payne this season. He wants to see the 2022 Payne, the Payne who plays for a contract. And if that Payne shows up, then the conversation will be different. But even if he has a monster year, do we really want to give another contract to a player who will be 30 years old in 2027 with a performance history that fluctuates with contract years? Keep it a buck, fam. That's a huge risk. My opinion, and this is what I believe is happening behind the scenes, is that Adam Peters is using this season to evaluate Payne without the commitment of a long-term contract. If Payne explodes, his trade value goes up, or we could consider a franchise tag if he's absolutely essential. But if his performance is the same as the last 3 years, then the unexpected exit is almost a certainty. The Commanders have a $27.5 million cap hit with Payne this year, the highest on the team. That's a lot of money for a player who hasn't been consistently dominant, and here's the part that excites me as a fan, but also makes me think tactically. If Payne leaves, what does it mean for our defensive line? We have Jonathan Allen, who's a beast. We have Javon Kinlaw and Dorrance Armstrong, who came in on significant contracts. We have Odaf Owe on the edge. Peters is building a young, fast, and athletic defense. If Payne doesn't fit that long-term vision, or if his price is too high, Peters won't hesitate to move. He's not a sentimental GM, he's a GM who builds winners. So when Payne says, "I'm just playing football," what I hear is, "I'm playing for my next contract, and Adam Peters is watching me closely." This season is crucial for Darren Payne, and for us, the fans, it's an opportunity to see if he can regain that elite level. But don't be surprised if at the end of the season we see Darren Payne with a new team. It would be an unexpected exit for some, but for those of us who read between the lines, it would be a calculated move by Adam Peters to maximize the value of every dollar and every position on this roster. And that, bro, is what we need to build a championship team. Okay, bro, let's move from contract uncertainty to a social media drama that has everyone talking. Brandon AIYUK, the talented wide receiver for the 49ers, is doing everything he can to force his way out of San Francisco, and he's doing it in the most modern way possible, through Instagram. First, a picture with a Commanders hat, then a picture holding a Commanders football, and to top it off, an edited video that's clearly a poisoned dart at the Niners. Y'all don't understand, this is a player who wants to come to Washington, and he's screaming it from the rooftops. But here's where things get interesting, and where Adam Peters has to be colder than an iceberg. AIYUK signed a massive 4-year, $120 million extension before the 2024 season, and what happened? He tore his ACL in Week 7. And the relationship with the 49ers went south when they voided $27 million in guarantees for 2026 because he skipped mandatory rehab sessions. Boom, total drama. Now the 49ers don't want to just give him away. They know AIYUK won't wear their jersey again, but they want something in return, and that's where we come in. Should the Commanders go for him? Let's look at the pros because they're very attractive. First, the instant connection with Jayden Daniels. ASU teammates. That chemistry is already there, fam. It's not something you find on the free agent market. Second, we need an elite WR2 alongside Terry McLaurin. Treylon Burks and Dyami Brown are battling for that spot, but AIYUK is a brutal quality jump. Third, and this is key, AIYUK could come cheap for the next 2 years because the 49ers would still have to pay part of his guarantees. That's a steal if Adam Peters pulls it off. AIYUK has solid numbers, 294 receptions, 4,305 yards, and 25 touchdowns in 69 games. He's a playmaker, a guy who can change a game, and with Jayden Daniels throwing him the ball, the ceiling is sky high. But bro, we can't ignore the cons, and they're important. The main one, medical questions. He hasn't played organized football since Week 7 of 2024. A whole year out. For a guy who just turned 28, is that a good sign? And then there's the locker room fit issue. A player who forces his way out of a team, who skips rehabs, who has a speeding incident he records and uploads to social media. Is that the kind of character we want in the new environment Adam Peters and Dan Quinn are building? Matt Maiocco, a 49ers insider, said it clearly. I don't think it's a certainty that he's ready to play football, earn a roster spot, and be the player he was. That's a real concern. We don't want a player who comes in and causes friction. The culture being built in Ashburn is fundamental. My personal take is this: Adam Peters is not a GM who gets carried away by social media hype. He's methodical, analytical. If he goes for AIYUK, it will be on his own terms. He's not going to pay an inflated price for a player with so many question marks. If the 49ers are forced to release him, and AIYUK is willing to sign a 1-year prove-it deal, then yes, Peters should seriously consider it. The connection with Daniels is a huge factor, and AIYUK's talent is undeniable, but not at any cost, and not without guarantees about his health and commitment. AIYUK's situation is a test for Adam Peters. Can he get elite talent at a bargain price, or is the risk too high for the culture he's building? I trust Peters. If he brings him in, it's because he's done his homework and believes the pros far outweigh the cons. But for now, fam, it's a drama we'll be watching closely because it could drastically change our offense. Okay, bro, after all that uncertainty and drama, let's talk about something that genuinely excites and optimistically fills me. And that's the connection forming between Jayden Daniels and our new tight end, CHIG. When the Commanders signed CHIG in free agency, it didn't make much national noise. But man, for us, Commanders fans, this is a key move and Jayden Daniels knows it. CHIG is an athletic, dynamic, pass-catching tight end who never quite fulfilled his potential with the Tennessee Titans. And let's be honest, the environment in Tennessee wasn't the most conducive for a tight end to shine. But the Commanders and Adam Peters saw something in him. They saw the tools, the potential to take the next step, especially after Zach Ertz wasn't re-signed. And here's the part that makes me scream with hype. Jayden Daniels is absolutely thrilled about CHIG's arrival. He couldn't hide his excitement. He said, "I was super excited we got CHIG. Just how he plays fast. Everything's 100% with him, so he's smart. He's been in this league for some time, and now he gets to go out there and show his talents on a bigger stage and a bigger role in the offense." Bro, when your franchise quarterback says that about a new target, y'all don't understand. That's a huge signal. David Blau's offense is going to need a tight end who can consistently get open, who can give Daniels an easy outlet, and CHIG has shown flashes of that ability in Tennessee. Now, with a franchise caliber quarterback like Daniels, a breakout season is totally possible. CHIG has the ability to turn short receptions into big gains. His athleticism allows him to get upfield quickly, something Ertz, with all due respect, no longer had at this stage of his career. This is part of Adam Peters' plan, to make the team younger and faster, and while he focused a lot on reinforcing the defense, CHIG Okonkwo could be the most impactful offensive addition of the season. Yes, it's a lot to ask of a guy who's never surpassed 600 yards in a season, but this is by far the best situation he's ever been in. John Bates and Ben Sinnott will have their roles, especially in blocking, but there's no doubt that CHIG is the top dog at the position, and if Jaden Daniels is so enthusiastic, you can bet he'll be looking for him early and often when the regular season starts. The sky is the limit for CHIG Okonkwo. If he can build that connection with Daniels, this has all the makings of a cornerstone pairing in the Commanders' offense long term. And if that happens, that $27 million 3-year contract is going to look like an absolute steal, a total steal. So fam, while some are worried about the AIYUK drama or PAYNE's future, I'm here watching Jaden Daniels and CHIG Okonkwo build something special. That chemistry, that excitement, that speed. That's what's going to lead us to the promised land. I'm hyped, man. That's all I got for today, fam. And look, I know we've touched on complex topics. The Daron Payne situation is a reminder that Adam Peters isn't here to make friends, but to build a winning team, and sometimes that means making tough decisions. The AIYUK drama is a temptation of talent with a red flag of caution. But then there's CHIG Okonkwo, a ray of hope that Jaden Daniels is making shine. This franchise has a rich history, fam. It has Joe Gibbs, Darrell Green, Art Monk. It has the legacy of the Hogs. And we're building a new chapter. A chapter where every decision counts. Where every player has to earn their spot. And where talent and character go hand in hand. Raise hail, always. If this video gave you something, if it made you think, if it made you feel the hype, drop a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and tell me down in the comments, do you think Daron Payne will stay beyond this season? Would you go for Brandon AIYUK with all those red flags? And how high do you think CHIG Okonkwo can fly with Jaden Daniels? I want to read every single response. See you in the next one.